My name is Emily Keenan, and I'm a senior at UMass Amherst studying German and English. I studied abroad in Heidelberg, Germany for the winter semester of 2016-2017, and it really changed my life, so I definitely encourage everyone to take the advantage of studying abroad. But I focused on that a lot last year, so this year I want to talk about how you can use your language skills outside of the university or school setting, because it's really easy to practice your language in class, practice your language studying abroad, but what's hard is when summer comes around, when you graduate and you're not necessarily doing something with your major and you want to, or your language. So when I was studying abroad, I had these thoughts. I was learning new words every single day, and I said, I don't want to lose this when I get home. So I made a Facebook group, I labeled it German Club, and I invited some of my friends from my hometown who were in my German class in high school. So over the summer, we started meeting up one time a month, and we would talk in German. We would play games like Taboo, Catchphrase, any board game. We would watch movies and make German food. But I wanted it to be more than just hanging out with my friends. So I reached out to my high school German teacher, and he gave me all of this contact info to everyone from current German students in his high school to 30-year-olds. And by the end of the summer, that's who I had hanging out at my house. People I had never met from all ages who just had this common language who wanted to use it. And it was a great outlet for people who were maybe nervous using their language outside of school, who could finally speak and feel comfortable and meet all these other people who were interested in the same language they were interested in. So another very easy way to use your language, what we learned a lot with our Keystone speaker, is getting a job with your language. And even if it's not your career, it can be a great summer job for students and a great pastime. So in the December 2013, I became a nanny for a family who wanted their daughter to learn German. And this is something really common that a lot of people today want their kids to learn a second language. So just putting yourself out there on care.com, on Craigslist, people will find you, and it's much easier than you think. So when I started, I was working with a girl named Ava. She had just turned 2, and she spoke Spanish. I did not. I spoke English and German, and I didn't even know that she spoke Spanish. They didn't tell me that. So I'm just talking at this girl, and she's talking at me, and we have no idea what we're saying. But she's 2, so luckily she's a sponge for languages. So I just narrated everything we did. I'm like, oh, Ava's going around the couch. We're putting the plates on the table. We're turning the light on. And all of a sudden, I could see that she was understanding me. So we had these picture books, and I'd be like, Ava, where's the yellow umbrella? And she would point to it, and she could point to everything in the book. She knew what it was. And that's how little kids learn their first language. You can see that they understand you before they can say it back to you. But then all of a sudden, she started saying the words back. I would drop this ball on the ground, and she thought it was so funny, and I would go nochmal, which means again, and all of a sudden she would go nochmal, nochmal, and she doesn't necessarily know that means again, but she knows it makes me drop the ball, and therefore she's going to keep saying it, and she has her first German word. So now Ava's 4.5 and fluent in German, and I know this because she can say what it's called salt and pepper words in German. There's this word doch, which kind of translates to duh or of course. And I said, Ava, did you brush your teeth? And she looks up at me and she's like, doch, Emily. And it's so sassy, but it was so funny, and I just couldn't help but laugh. And I was proud of this little girl who was throwing this like German casual talk at me. And now Ava has a little brother, 8 months old, Max, and I'm starting to teach him German. How do you teach a baby German is the same way, or a second language is the same way you teach him a first language. I just talk at him, I'm like, oh, look at this little elephant. Do you need your diaper changed? And of course he has no idea what I'm saying, just like he has no idea what his mom's saying in Spanish or anyone saying in English. But eventually he'll get there. And there's this whole idea of how to teach kids 2, or in these kids' cases, 3 languages at once, and there's really no set of rules that'll do it. Ava can speak German, English, and Spanish completely fluent. She knows who to speak what language to, but it could be a totally different case for Max, and the best thing to do is just try, because by that time that kid's in 5th grade, you're never going to know what was their first language. So there's going to be so many challenges when teaching little kids how to talk. So just like they're sponges in learning a language, and that's great, but they're going to take everything incorrect that you said, and they're going to say it. So this one time I said, Ava, that was fun in German, and it's that made fun, grammarly, in German. And she goes, yeah, that was fun. And I was like, shoot, I knew it right when it came out of my mouth. So you can't directly correct a little kid. You can't say, no, it's actually said this way, because before the age of 5, they just cannot get that in their head. So you can correct them without correcting them, which sounds crazy. But so Ava would say, yeah, that was fun. And I said, right, that made fun. And every time she said it, I also said it. And eventually she just picked it back up, and we were back on the right grammar before her dad noticed. So one time Ava and I were at the park, and we were just off talking in German, and Ava's really shy, mainly because English was her third language, and so she wasn't super confident in it. And that's seemingly what the whole world spoke to her. But this boy came up to me, and he spoke German, and he had been studying here. He was an exchange student, and he was so excited that we spoke German. So we talked for 30 minutes. Ava was so excited to talk to him, and this is like, that scenario will happen so many times in your life. If you're speaking a language that's not the language of where you are, and someone else speaks that language, no matter what you're talking about, they're going to join your conversation. And that's one of my favorite things about languages, and this whole idea of building bridges through language, is they really bring people together, because no matter how uncomfortable they feel in a place where they're not speaking the native tongue, they will feel immediately at home when you're speaking their native tongue or language that they enjoy. And I just find that amazing that I can connect with more people that I never would have been able to connect with without German. Thank you.